Hi guys, I'm making this video today to talk a little bit about INFPs and their dominant FI function, which is the introverted feeling. I'm currently sitting in a tree right by the beach, so it's a little windy, so I'm sorry if the audio's bad or if my hair is blowing everywhere. Just ignore it. So I decided to make this video just today because of something that's going on in my life where my dominant FI function is really taking control over my mind. And it took me a while to really understand what the different functions within the MBTI types mean. I just recently started to understand more how important understanding the functions are, and considering that I'm an INFP and introverted feeling is my dominant function, it has really changed the way that I've thought about Myers-Briggs in general and how I feel about myself and how I understand myself, because this is obviously a very important function for INFPs, as you might know if you are an INFP. But just these past few days I've really gotten a grasp of what it means to have the FI function, and I understood it by contrasting it with what I know about other types that don't have it. So basically, like, all my life, I guess I've kind of assumed that everyone has these deep feelings and that like everyone has a private part of their personality that they don't share with everyone, and while that may be true, I think for INFPs it is blown out of proportion in a way that no other type could really understand. So I gained the knowledge on what I know about introverted feelers by doing more research on ENTPs, which are in some ways very similar to INFPs and in other ways very different from INFPs for different reasons. And I did this because I had a friend who I suspect was an ENTP, and you know, I wanted to know more about them, and I was confused about some of their actions, and I wanted to know how they felt about me. Not that they know anything about Myers-Briggs personalities, but understanding their type helped me learn how to act around them, or it helped me to understand their interactions with me. So I gained a better understanding of what FI really means by learning more about the ENTP personality type. This is because the ENTP's blind spot is FI. And what that basically means is that FI is the one function that they understand the least. They know nothing about it. They cannot grasp the idea of it. Maybe like unless they study MBTI function, they probably have no idea what it is. When I first realized that ENTPs do not understand introverted feeling, like, a lot of things clicked for me, and it made me realize that while ENTPs might be the type that understand introverted feeling the least, and we might be the types that understand it the most, and there's a whole spectrum in between of some types that maybe have introverted feeling, just not as their dominant function, or introverted feeling might be one of their inferior functions, but maybe not their blind spot, so sometimes they experience it, sometimes, or maybe they know people that experience it and they understand it better. But it was really an epiphany for me when I realized that not everybody has this whole inner world of such strong, deep emotions. And it kind of makes me angry because having FI is very hard. It's really hard to feel a lot and have a lot of emotions. It most likely means that you're sad a lot because you take everything to heart, and you feel other people's emotions as well as your own. And it was so interesting to me that other types just don't understand it. So me understanding that I have FI as my dominant function and that other types may not think about it kind of changed the way that my relationships with other people work. For example, I mentioned I had an ENTP friend, and that's why I started thinking more about this and researching more about this. So I'm gonna keep it very vague, I'm sorry, but so they did something that really hurt my feelings, not because they did something to me or meant to hurt my feelings, but it was just something that they did, and I am pretty upset about it because I guess because I have FI, all I'm thinking about is that it's my fault. How could I have done something differently to change the outcome? What did I do? I'm not angry at them for any reason, and I'm more angry at myself for feeling this deep emotion of sadness because now that I know that they're an ENTP, I could understand that what they did had nothing to do with me, and even if it did, it had nothing to do with my feelings or my emotions, and there was no intentions to hurt me behind it. It was really just the right thing to do logically in their mind. Probably because of their introverted thinking, they just knew that this was the logical and best thing for them without considering my feelings. Not knowing that they're an ENTP, I might think, oh my god, why aren't they thinking about my feelings? They must be trying to hurt me. But in reality, it's just that they don't understand that I have these deep feelings. And it's their blind spot. They just cannot grasp the idea of feeling these emotions deep. I'm not an ENTP. I don't know I don't understand it. Because FI is my dominant function, that's all I know. That's how I've lived my life, is having these deep emotions, and I only know that ENTPs don't understand it from watching ENTPs on YouTube talk about it, and it's so weird. They cannot grasp the idea that INFPs have such deep feelings and take everything so personally, while I don't understand how ENTPs don't take anything personally and don't feel the same way that I do. They think logically, and they act, and they have all these ideas, and they say what's on their mind. I mentioned earlier how ENTPs and INFPs are very different in some ways and very similar in other ways. One of the ways we're so similar is that my secondary function is extroverted intuition, and their dominant function is extroverted intuition. So the fact that we share extroverted intuition means that, like, that we think a lot about all the different possibilities in the world and about the future and about and we have a large imagination. But because ENTPs don't have introverted feeling, they think about it in a way that's logical, like oh, these things are available to me, how can I get them? They have all these practical ideas that they want to act on, and it's hard for them to focus on certain things, but they have like this large imagination thinking about possibilities, and INFPs have the same thing, but because FIs are dominant function, we have this large imagination that has to do more with our feelings and emotions rather than logical, practical things that we want to get done. It's more like we have a whole imaginary world. For example, INFPs might daydream about their perfect love life, or like career-wise, they think about their future of like what will make them happiest, how can they get the most out of life, how can they understand themselves the best. Well, while an ENTP does not daydream about that. I don't know what they daydream about. I don't get it. I don't understand what they daydream about because I'm not an ENTP, and the same way that they don't understand my FI, I do not understand not having FI. So I hope I made sense there. I guess I just kind of wanted to express my feelings because usually I don't. So if you're an INFP or if you're an ENTP and you agree or disagree with anything I said, comment below. Yeah, sorry for my rambling. I'll probably make more videos talking about Myers-Briggs types because that's all I'm interested in. So the sun is setting, as you can see. It's getting pretty dark. So I'm gonna end the video. Talk to you guys soon.